Today I've brought you a spine-chilling action thriller movie called 22 Minutes. You've probably heard of Somali pirates, known as the terror of the seas. But how ruthless they can actually be is impossible to understand without watching this movie. The story begins with a massive Russian cargo ship called Yamal. This was no ordinary ship. It was carrying almost 2 million barrels of crude oil being transported from Russia to Singapore. The captain and crew members were heading toward their destination, with no idea that death itself had its eyes on them. Suddenly, around 100 Somali pirates in small speedboats surround the ship from every direction. They start climbing up the ship using ropes and hooks. The captain immediately understands the situation. Within moments, he shuts off all the lights on the ship and takes all crew members to a secure safety room for shelter. The captain knew that even a tiny spark of fire on this oil tanker would cause an explosion bigger than a nuclear bomb, so they decide to fight from behind cover. Meanwhile, not far from this cargo ship, a powerful Russian warship called Marshal Shaposhnikov was returning from a routine operation. Stationed on it was Russia's most elite special force, the Marine Naval Infantry. The moment they receive news about Yamal being hijacked, a special team of 10 soldiers heads out for a rescue operation. But they were given strict orders that they absolutely cannot fire any shots on the ship, because one mistake could destroy the entire vessel. The Russian soldiers thought they would easily overpower some ordinary robbers, but they couldn't withstand the Somali pirates' gunfire. In the counterattack, one of their soldiers gets shot and falls into the ocean. Due to the darkness and rain, his comrades couldn't rescue him and were forced to retreat. So friends, what happened to that brave soldier in those raging waves and bone-chilling cold? You'll be amazed to hear this. When everyone had left him for dead, fate gave him a new life. But that life was far more dangerous than before. After being shot and floating for hours in the freezing ocean water, the Russian soldier was miraculously still alive. In the morning, some fishing boats rescued him. But the tragedy was that those fishermen were actually spies for the Somali pirates. Instead of giving him medical treatment, they captured him and took him straight to the hijacked ship Yamal. There, he comes face to face with the ruthless pirate chief Doda. Doda was an extremely arrogant and cruel man who considered himself the undisputed ruler of those seas. He arrogantly tells the Russian soldier that not even a fish moves in this ocean without his permission. He declares that until $20 million in ransom is received, nobody will be released alive. But our hero, despite being wounded, was not someone who scares easily. He looks Doda straight in the eye and tells him that as long as Russia's special forces exist, this pirate's reign won't last long. This makes Doda furious, and he gives the soldier one final warning. Meanwhile, a helicopter was sent from the Russian warship to search for the missing soldier. Despite searching everywhere, they couldn't find him on the ship's deck or in the water and were forced to return empty-handed. News reaches Russian headquarters that the ship is completely under pirate control and all communication with the crew members has been cut off. The Russian Navy admiral realizes this is not ordinary piracy but a well-planned hijack. Their biggest challenge now is to protect those 2 million barrels of oil and bring back the captive crew members safely, because the slightest mistake would mean a massive fire that could turn the entire ocean into a wasteland. At Russian headquarters, the admiral and high-ranking officers were monitoring every movement of the ship through drones. They learned that Pirate Chief Doda is no ordinary criminal. His criminal history is long and terrifying. When the ship's owners refuse to pay the ransom, the admiral stands up and says, "It's not just oil out there. 20 of our crew members and 1 brave soldier's lives are at stake. We cannot sit with our hands folded." Meanwhile, Captain Sajid of the Red Dragon Force on the warship was examining every detail of this mission. The biggest obstacle was those 2 million barrels of oil. The captain warns his team, "The slightest mistake there means a massive explosion. An explosion so huge that not even our trace will remain in the ocean. So instead of a conventional attack, they plan a covert and precise operation." Inside the ship, our captive hero hadn't given up for a single moment. Doda forces him to go to the security room door and tell the crew members to come out. Doda thought the captain would get scared hearing the soldier's voice and open the door, but our hero cleverly signals the captain in Russian, "Don't come out under any circumstances. They've killed 1 crew member and thrown him into the sea. They probably won't keep me alive either. Stay inside." Although Doda couldn't understand Russian, he starts getting suspicious from the hero's body language. In rage, he announces that if they don't come out within the next 24 hours and the ransom money isn't received, he'll blow up the entire ship while being held captive. Our hero notices that not all pirates are as ruthless as Doda. There he meets a pirate with a very peculiar name, AK-47. Though the name initially startles him, our hero realizes this man is somewhat different. When the hero nervously asked his name, the pirate proudly revealed that his name was actually taken from the famous rifle. Talking to this oddly named pirate, our hero understands that even among these pirates, there's fear and vulnerability. Meanwhile, the Russian warship begins putting pressure on the pirates. They intercept one of the pirates' small supply boats and dump a massive amount of narcotics into the sea. Seeing this, Pirate Chief Dota becomes absolutely furious. To take revenge, he holds a sharp weapon to our hero's throat and warns the Russian soldiers. He forces them to pick up the dumped drug packets and put them back on the boat. The soldiers are forced to endure this humiliation because our hero's life was in danger. Our hero realizes if he needs to do something, now is the time. He starts quietly moving away from the deck toward the rear, unnoticed by everyone. Only one thought was running through his mind. He must somehow jump into the sea and reach the Russian warship. He starts sliding down, holding the oil pipes, and tries to hang from a crane. But Dota's soldiers spot him and fire a small missile to push the Russian soldier's boat away. Our hero is left hanging midway, alone. All escape routes are now blocked. That's when the pirates catch him and begin inhumane torture. Dota mocks him, saying it's impossible for a mere soldier like him to escape from the king of this ocean. That very night, our hero devises a dangerous plan. When the pirates become slightly relaxed in their guarding, he skillfully obtains a signal flare. Hidden in a dark corner of the ship, he starts sending signals toward the Russian warship in the ocean. From the distance, his comrades also flash their lights on and off, signaling that they've received his message. Through these signals, he receives an extremely important piece of information. The next morning, the Russian Special Force Red Dragon will launch their final assault. Our hero is instructed to somehow divert the pirates' attention during the attack. The next morning, Pirate Chief Dota reaches the last limit of his patience. The ransom deadline was almost up, but the captain inside the security room still refuses to surrender. Dota now chooses a terrifying path. He pulls out a powerful grenade and threatens that if the door isn't opened immediately, he'll blow up the entire room. On the other side of the door, extreme panic spreads among the trapped crew members. One crew member, overcome with fear, attacks the captain and tries to force the door open. A physical struggle breaks out among them. At this critical moment, our hero once again shows his intelligence. He convincingly explains to Dota that after pulling a grenade's pin, it takes time to explode, and this strong door cannot be blown open. In fact, the explosion could ignite the oil tanker, which would send the pirates themselves to a watery grave. Hearing this logic, Dota gets confused and temporarily backs down from his decision to blow the door. This brief delay was our hero's greatest victory, because beneath the ocean surface, Russian commandos had already begun silently moving toward the ship. The pirates had no clue that the net was already closing around them. On one part of the ship, while our hero was looking for an escape route, Dota crosses the extreme limit of his cruelty. A member of the pirate crew, who was actually AK-47's younger brother, gets on Dota's bad side over a minor mistake. Dota orders him to be tied with a rope from the ship's deck and hung over the raging ocean water as punishment. The pirates didn't know that hungry sharks roamed those waters. Within moments, the blue ocean water turns red with blood. A massive shark bites off both legs of that pirate. Seeing his brother's horrific condition, AK-47 completely breaks down inside. A deep hatred for Dota is born in his heart. He realizes that Dota doesn't care even about his own people. Our hero seizes this exact opportunity. He convinces AK-47 that staying with Dota means none of them will survive. Devastated by his brother's death and Dota's betrayal, AK-47 decides to help the Russian hero. He gives our hero a sharp weapon and instructs him to stay hidden and create confusion among the pirates during the attack. AK-47 promises that the next morning, when Russian soldiers attack, he will provide full cooperation from inside. Meanwhile, underwater with oxygen masks, the Red Dragon Force commandos have already reached the ship's hull. Using special equipment, they start climbing the steel walls like magnets, moving upward with extreme caution. The Admiral gives the final attack order from headquarters. The captain warns his team that this is going to be the most difficult mission of their lives. On one side are the pirates with machine guns, and on the other is the massive oil tanker. A single second's mistake means certain death. The pirates were still celebrating, completely unaware that their executioners had already arrived right beneath their feet. Before the first rays of morning light, the calm ocean transforms into a horrifying battlefield. As the Red Dragon Force commandos silently enter the ship by climbing over the railing, most pirates were caught completely off guard. Right at that moment, according to plan, Pirate AK-47 starts his rebellion. He blasts music at full volume through the ship's loudspeakers and starts firing wildly at the deck. This creates massive confusion among the entire pirate crew. They couldn't figure out where the attack was coming from or why one of their own was behaving so strangely. When Pirate Chief Dota realizes the situation and comes out of his cabin, our hero demonstrates his extraordinary combat skills. He overpowers the two guards watching him with bare hands, takes their weapons, and frees himself. Meanwhile, the Russian commandos begin taking down the pirates one by one with incredible precision without using any heavy weapons. Their main objective was to ensure the oil tanker isn't damaged in any way, because even a small spark could destroy the entire ship in an instant. But when the pirates realize they're being attacked from all sides, they start fighting back desperately. A bloody battle erupts in the ship's narrow corridors. Dota realizes the soldiers might take over the ship, so he plans to play his last trump card. He runs like a madman toward the section of the ship where bombs had been fitted. He wanted to ensure that if he can't have the ship, nobody gets it back. In this cat-and-mouse game between pirates and Russian soldiers, the entire ship's fate was hanging by a thread. Could our hero stop Dota before he reaches that explosive? Although the ship's deck was mostly under Russian control, the real danger was lurking deep inside the ship. Pirate Chief Dota had realized he couldn't win a face-to-face battle against Russia's Red Dragon force, so he starts moving toward the engineering room to execute his terrifying plan. Our hero, who had been with the pirates for the past few days, knew they had set powerful explosives near the main oil cylinder the night before. He understood that even if the commandos eliminate the pirates, if Dota presses that bomb's remote even once, the entire ship would become a massive fireball within seconds. On one side, Russian commandos were engaged in hand-to-hand combat with pirates in the corridors. Since the oil tanker was right beside them, they couldn't use any firearms. They were defeating each pirate with knives or bare hands. On the other side, our brave hero was running like a madman through dark staircases and narrow pipes toward the engineering room. Midway, Dota's trusted henchman Jamal and several armed pirates block his path. A fierce and uneven fight begins. On one hand, our hero had to protect himself. On the other, his goal was to deactivate the explosives. Right at this time, on the upper deck, Captain Sajid and Pirate Chief Dota come face to face. Sajid was an exceptional warrior, but Dota was extremely cunning. Instead of fighting directly, he kept using various covers to buy time. His actual plan was to keep Sajid busy while reaching the engineering room. An intense psychological warfare was raging throughout the entire ship. On one side, our hero was fighting Jamal. On the other, Captain Sajid was trying to catch Dota. The ship's fate was hanging by the thinnest thread. In a corner of the engineering room, our hero was locked in a life-or-death battle with the giant pirate Jamal. Against Jamal's inhuman strength, the hero was being pushed back repeatedly, but the thought of that powerful explosive kept circling in his mind. He knew that from the upper deck, Dota could press the remote button at any moment. Right then, on the upper deck, Captain Sajid had almost cornered Dota. When Dota saw there was no escape left, he pulls out that cursed remote from his pocket and lets out a demonic laugh. He wanted to take the entire ship down with him before dying. At the exact moment Dota was about to press the remote button, in that nanosecond, our hero does something unbelievable in the engineering room. Despite taking a brutal hit from Jamal, he crawls to the explosive's main connection point. Risking his own life, he rips out the bomb's spark plug with his bare hands. No matter how many times Dota presses the button from above, no explosion occurs. By deactivating the explosive, Dota's biggest trump card is completely ruined. Our hero also finally manages to overpower Jamal and knocks him unconscious. From the deck, the crew members hear that there's no longer any danger of explosion. They bravely come outside. The Russian commandos have by now taken control of every part of the ship. They begin handcuffing the pirates one by one. But amidst this victory, a heartbreaking scene catches everyone's eye. Pirate AK-47, who had rebelled against his own crew to help our hero, was lying in a corner severely wounded by pirate bullets. His condition was extremely critical. Our hero rushes to his side, but there was no more hatred in AK-47's eyes, only a strange sense of peace. The ship was now completely under Russian Special Forces control. A large portion of the pirates had been killed, and the rest had surrendered. But our brave hero's heart was aching with an unspeakable pain. He pushes through the crowd and runs to that corner of the ship where AK-47 lay covered in blood. The hero screams for a medical team to save him, but AK-47 stops him with a faint smile. He knew his time was up. Before dying, he places an old music cassette in our hero's hand. It was his most precious memory. AK-47's last wish was that the hero would remember him not as an enemy, but as a friend. Someone who did the right thing even at the very last moment. AK-47 takes his last breath in our hero's arms. Seeing this scene, even the tough-hearted Russian commandos couldn't hold back their tears. Our hero takes his father's heirloom watch from his own wrist and places it on AK-47's wrist. This was the highest honor a professional soldier could pay to a former pirate. This moment teaches us that people are not born evil. Rather, circumstances and extreme poverty push them toward crime. Captain Sajid and his entire team observe. A moment of silence in memory of those who lost their lives in this operation. The ship was now ready to head back to Russia. There were tears of joy in the rescued crew members' eyes. But amidst this success comes an unexpected twist. the admiral sends an official order from Russian headquarters that leaves both our hero and Captain Sajid completely stunned. Citing international human rights law, the higher authorities ordered that surviving pirate Chief Doda and his remaining companions must be released without any trial. They are to be set free on a small boat in the middle of the ocean. Our hero absolutely cannot accept that Doda, who had spilled the blood of so many innocent people, would be respectfully released like this. So friends, seeing this absurd loophole in the justice system, while our brave hero was boiling with rage inside, he makes one final and daring decision. He understood that releasing a demon like Doda would only mean putting hundreds more innocent lives at risk in the future. He could not allow the sacrifice of a friend like AK-47 and the blood of his comrades to go in vain. So for one moment, he awakens the human being behind his soldier's uniform. He takes the responsibility of justice onto his own shoulders. While the Russian commandos were preparing to put the pirates on that small lifeboat, our hero quietly slips away to the storage room at the rear of the ship. There, he collects a powerful hand grenade. Among the large water jars and supplies being given to the pirates for their journey, our hero meticulously attaches the grenade to one of them. He ties the grenade's safety pin to the jar's lid with a thin wire so that the moment someone twists the lid open, the pin pulls out and the grenade activates. Nobody outside had the slightest clue about this death trap. Pirate Chief Doda was laughing with a demonic grin as he boarded the small boat with his companions. He thought he had easily fooled Russia's massive military and gotten away. There was no remorse in his mind, only the arrogance of starting his piracy all over again. As the boat slowly starts moving away from the Yamal, our hero and Captain Sajid stood on the ship's deck, watching with unwavering gazes. The captain was perhaps bound by orders, but in our hero's eyes was a strange satisfaction, because he knew that the pirates' release was actually paving the way for their permanent end. As the boat was disappearing toward the horizon, the moment of the final explosion arrives. Pirate Chief Doda, thinking he was beyond anyone's reach in the middle of the ocean, was laughing wildly. After the long battle and excitement, he was feeling quite thirsty. He didn't know that his death warrant was waiting inside the water jar placed right next to him. The moment he casually starts twisting open that jar's lid, the death trap set by our hero activates. Before the lid fully opens, the grenade's safety pin violently pulls out, a few moments of deathly silence. And then a massive explosion rocks the middle of the ocean. The pirate's small boat turns into a ball of fire and sinks into the ocean depths within moments. Doda and none of his companions survived that devastating explosion from the massive Russian warship standing in the distance. The flames were clearly visible. Captain Sajid perhaps understood what had happened, but without asking a single question, he looks at our hero and gives a knowing smile, because the justice that needed to be delivered beyond the limitations of military law had been achieved today. This explosion was a fitting tribute to the souls of the fallen crew members and a worthy repayment for AK-47's selfless friendship. Our hero understands that pirates may be the terror of the seas, but against true bravery, their downfall is inevitable. At the very end of the movie, Russia's powerful warship is seen sailing toward its homeland, with the flag of victory flying high. Our brave hero stands on the deck, looking out at the raging ocean, thinking about the old music cassette AK-47 had given him. This tough mission taught him that people are not always born criminals. Many step onto the wrong path as victims of circumstances. When the ship docks at the Russian port, they are welcomed as heroes. And that's how this extraordinary tale of courage, friendship, and patriotism comes to an end. So friends, how did you like today's intense movie explanation? Let us know in the comments which movie explanation you want to see next. See you again with another thrilling story. Until then, stay well and stay healthy.